Tonight, Devin Nunes indirectly exposes the global spy racket known as the Five Eyes. Hi, I'm Craig, and welcome to Just Informed Talk. For those of you who don't know, I start off each one of these episodes by saying thank you so much to my subscribers. Without you guys, this channel would not be possible. If you have not hit the subscribe button, please come here to this landing page, click the big red subscribe button, make sure you hit bell for notifications. That way, as soon as these videos get posted, you'll be notified, because as soon as information is made available to me, I make it available to you. And tonight we have quite a bit of interesting information we're going to get into here really quickly. Now, first Q post. This is where we left off, talking about the Muslim Brotherhood, Abedin, her connections, and Barack Obama being tied to Prince Al-Walal Talid bin Lal. If you guys want to hear more about that, come back here and watch this video talking about how he was paid for through Harvard by him allegedly. And we're going to get in at the end of this episode something that's really important. I get a lot of people giving me some pretty negative feedback here on these Zach posts from InfoWars. And I want to make an official statement on Alex Jones and Zach from InfoWars for the record, just that you guys get me on a clear setting. And we're going to look at some of the comments from these videos where you guys actually question my intentions. And since that is very fair, I would like to state for the record how I feel about it all. But you guys will have to stick around to see that at the end of this episode. Now, getting into the latest Q post. First, Q post here. Not official, quote unquote. Product, Five Eyes. Listen carefully. No evidence to support POTUS targeting, none. Do you understand the gravity of what's unfolding? Evil and corruption. She had to win at all costs. You know why. How do people vote for these people? And it gives a link to a Fox News clip from a show. And signed Q. Here is that clip. And we're going to watch it for a minute here. We're going to actually go through some of the key points that are brought up. But this is a video and an interview. So you have Sunday Morning Futures, a show on Fox News being hosted by Maria Bartiromo, and she reports for Fox News, but she's actually literally getting the exact answers from Devin Nunes that we all understand are true, not to mention the fact that Devin Nunes is obviously pointing to things that we're hearing here on the QAnon boards as in proof that Q has foreknowledge of future events. Now, we're going to go through this, and I want you guys to watch first the reason for spying on Trump with the Five Eyes. This is the justification that Devin Nunes has been able to uncover to this point. So, guys, we're going to watch this really quick.
At that time, you said you wanted to get the electronic communication from the Department of Justice and the FBI. You wanted that electronic communications to understand exactly how the Trump investigation into collusion even began. You've now since seen the electronic communication, yes?
That's correct. So it took us a long time to actually get this, what's called the electronic communication, as we know it now for your viewers. What that is it's the original intelligence, the original reasons that the counterintelligence investigation was started. Now, this is really important to us because a counterintelligence investigation uses the tools of our intelligence services that are not supposed to be used on American citizens. So we've long wanted to know, well, what intelligence did you have that actually led to this investigation?
So right there, you heard it for yourself. They're talking about there really is no evidence of this Russian collusion other than what has been manufactured by the lying criminals at the Department of Justice, FBI, Department of State. And Devin Nunes is actually very courageous in standing up and talking about the fact that the Five Eyes have produced no evidence. And it may seem when you listen to this clip at first that what Devin Nunes is saying is something to the effect of the Five Eyes had nothing to do with this investigation. But if you listen carefully, as Q tells us to, you actually see that what he's saying is, who brought up the Five Eyes? He just is bringing it up basically out of nowhere, saying in relation to these accusations, there is no proof other than the fact that there may have been collection of this data, and then there was proof. So I mean, you guys listen and let me know for yourselves what you think. But here you go.
So what we found now, after the investigators had reviewed it, is that in fact there was no intelligence. So we have a traditional partnership with what's called the Five Eyes Agreement. Five Eyes Agreement involves our friends in Australia, New Zealand, the United Kingdom, Canada, and of course us. So long-time process and procedures in place where we move intelligence across. We are not supposed to spy on each other's citizens, and it's worked well, and it continues to work well. And we know it's working well because there was no intelligence that passed from Five Eyes through the Five Eyes channels to our government. And that's why we had to see that original communication. So now we're trying to figure out, as you know, we are investigating the State Department. We think there's some major irregularities at the State Department, and we're trying to figure out how it is that this information about Mr. Papadopoulos, of all people, who was supposedly meeting with some folks in London, how that made it over across into the FBI's hands. We know a little bit about that because of what some of the State Department officials themselves have said about that.
So there you go. Obviously, right there, we're talking about things that are very important to the issues at hand, especially the stuff we're covering here on the Q boards, regarding the fact that if you listen carefully to what he's saying, the Five Eyes didn't find any intelligence. They weren't responsible for producing intelligence because there was no intelligence, because they were basically being illegally used against the person running for president in the United States here. This is what they're talking about with the Five Eyes, which is the British, Canadian, Australian, and United States, and someone else, HQ, all of our countries' joint intelligence being used by other countries. So if the Australian government wants to spy on somebody in Australia, they'll ask the Canadian government to give them information about it. If the Americans want to spy on somebody in America, we'll ask the British GCHQ to give us information about them. That's how it works. And then the British can say that they're spying on an enemy of the state, whatever, easily defendable in their country, and they can share that information with us, thereby passing over our constitutional protections, our Fourth Amendment rights, our ability to have any kind of privacy in this country, because the deep state can just dictate when and how they want to effectively spy on the people who are going to be affecting change in this country. Now, listening to the next one, they're going to talk about how the FBI had no intel, which I think is very interesting.
Start. I don't understand, sir. Please explain.
Well, I think that is the point. We don't understand. We've never understood because we have access to these finished intelligence products, and we've never seen one. So we thought, well, maybe there was one that went through a different channel that was kept really quiet, that was secret, that was kept from the Congress and other folks. Well, in fact, after our investigators reviewed this, that is not what happened. There was no Five Eyes intelligence product as it's been reported. There was no product, and I think that's a major problem because we have to have trust with our partners, with our allies. We have to make sure that our agencies talk and they work out problems. We have to make sure that they don't spy on either American citizens or that we're not spying on British citizens. These are all things that have been around for decades. So, and this is even more critical. Let's just at the highest level, what is this? What is this about? This was about a counterintelligence investigation that was at the height of a political campaign, where you opened up an investigation using these intelligence services to spy on the other campaign. It's really serious stuff.
Yeah, it is really serious stuff. And if you watch what we're going to get into next, we're actually going to talk about the Comey memos, which I think is very interesting to talk about. The reasoning behind them being pushed out, and then if we talk about it with Q has referred to them as being fake. But if we talk about them in regards to what Nunes is talking about here, they were pushed out because he's making a case for criminal charges against himself by exposing the fact that he was a criminal leaker. But then on the same token, it's fascinating to see how he's actually vindicating the president of all guilt in the Russian conspiracy. But that's not what he's talking about in his interviews. And then Devin Nunes is just simply pointing out that it's obvious that Comey has a striking difference between what he's saying publicly in these interviews and what he's actually written down and implicated in the memos that have been turned over. So fascinating. But you guys be the judge. Watch it for yourself.
Well, the main reason we wanted them out is because the mainstream media and the Democrats have been running around talking about collusion. When they figured out there was no collusion, they moved on to obstruction of justice. What Mr. Gowdy, who was able to review these a long time ago, and Mr. Goodlatte had said, and now we know this from reading them, is that once you read all of the Comey memos, it becomes Exhibit A in a defense against that there was no obstruction of justice. So I think when you read all of them, good legal minds review these. When you have the President of the United States saying, look, investigate all of my people. If anybody in my campaign was colluding with the Russians, I want to know, and they need to be brought to justice. Something of that nature is in the Comey memos. So this is why the Comey memos needed to get out, because, if there is obstruction of justice, we want to know about it, but clearly there wasn't, and that's what the Comey memos prove. Now, I think for Mr. Comey, when you match up his memos with what's in his book, with the interviews that he's giving, I think he's got a lot of problems coming in the future as it relates to what the IG is looking at into his behavior during the Clinton email investigation.
Yes, James Comey has a lot to look forward to in the coming investigations, basically given the fact that he's leaked criminally information that was classified. So obviously, and he's politically biased, which is, you're supposed to be a nonpartisan as the director of the FBI, and he's obviously partisan against Trump. His family's marching at the women's march. There's just too much there to overlook it. But now, this is going to get into something interesting where Devin Nunes talks about the possibility of criminal charges against James Comey. Please watch.
It's hard to say right now, but we know that. So Mr. McCabe has been recommended that he face criminal charges. Now his lawyer, and he has a right to his lawyer. His lawyer has said no, this is not true. What the IG, Mr. Comey, is lying. Essentially, is what Mr. McCabe is saying, that Comey did give him the right to go talk to the press. So, this all has to be fleshed out. Clearly, the IG believed Mr. Comey, that Comey did not give Mr. McCabe the ability to go talk to the press. Now, as it relates to Mr. Comey, you've got the added problem now that the memos that he wrote, the 7 memos that he decided to write on President Trump, never wrote memos on any of the other meetings he had with the other president or the AG or anyone else prior to this, but he kept 7 memos. 4 of those were classified. He decided to launder them to a friend who then leaked them to the New York Times. If those memos contain classified information, he purposely did that. He purposely leaked them in order to get a special counsel started after he was fired. He leaked pieces of these, so we need to figure out exactly what is it that he leaked. Who did he give these memos to? And was it just the friend that leaked them to the New York Times, or were there others? I believe there were others. I think that these Comey memos were actually given to several people. It contained classified information. The irony is the very thing that Mr. Comey cleared Mrs. Clinton of.
Real quick, we're going to take a break.
So there you have it. Obviously, there is so much going on that is just being pointed to here by Devin Nunes, and that's what Q's pointing us to. So that's where we're at right now. So this makes a lot more sense when we go back to the Q post here and say, not official product Five Eyes. So listen carefully. That's what Devin Nunes says. He says not an official quote-unquote product of the Five Eyes. It was an unofficial product of the Five Eyes, which is referring to the fact they use these agencies to spy on us through each other's intelligence agencies. And it's been being made very clear, if you listen to Devin Nunes, that the GCHQ is the one that's being used against the Americans. And just like probably Canadian intelligence is used against the Australians, just like the Australian intelligence is used against probably the GC, the British. I mean, guys, this is what they're doing. It is their way of circumventing law, and it's being exposed and shown to us by Q. And it's talking about evil and corruption, talking about Hillary. She had to win at all costs, and we know why. But I mean, the real question: how do people vote for these people? I don't know. I mean, you guys let me know what you think in the comments. That's the kind of evil that we're dealing with. Obviously, it is something on another level. And they were saying constitutional crisis. Yes, that would be a constitutional crisis if you have actors inside the government using foreign intelligence agencies to spy on our own people. Sorry. Now, that was basically the whole gist of that. Now we'll get into the next one here. At Al Gore. This is Q speaking. Today is Earth Day. Did you forget? Do you feel safe? And it actually cuts this Washington Post article talking about how Al Gore has thrived as a green tech investor. This is an article from 2012. And this, I think, is a direct implication that Al Gore will be the dark horse, out of nowhere candidate who's going to throw his hat into the ring to fight for the globalist agenda, to fight for the Luciferian pedophile elite core of globalists who are the Soroses and the Rothschilds and the House of Saud who want to run this country. And they're going to be their candidate. Because I haven't heard a thing about Al Gore. Everybody probably kind of likes Al Gore if they not really are awake and they don't know a lot of the truth about what he's been in favor of. One of the things that I'm very adamantly against that he supports is this carbon tax, where how do you tax the carbon in the world? That's like having a daylight tax, having a nighttime tax. Oh, the sun goes away at night. Yeah, you're going to have to pay extra for that. Oh, the sun's up again. Yep, there you go. We need more money for that. There's another tax that we just thought of. That's the same logic behind a global carbon tax. It's just meant to make the rich richer, and it's only meant to offset wealth deficits. It's not meant to offset actual environmental impacts in our society. Now, I'm not against people who think that the climate's changing, but if Al Gore thinks he's going to just walk onto the scene and become the next president to challenge Trump, and he's going to challenge him with the fact that he owned what is it? I think his TV station, if I'm not incorrect, was bought by Al Jazeera, and it was Current TV, the one that he started, talking about like global warming and stuff, which all of his predictions have basically not really come to pass. So, you guys let me know what you think in the comments about Al Gore and what he has to do with all this. And if you read the Q post, I think it's just Q pointing out that they see him, and not only do we see him, we understand the game that's being played behind or beneath the surface, where they're actually working to bring him in as the fire that nobody knows about, the Promethean movement in the Democratic Party, to get this unknown great sage of wisdom to run for president, who has a very mildly unbiased or checkered past, besides his very, very I mean, like, guys, look up his financial deals, and you'll see exactly what kind of Clinton Foundation crony this guy is. He's Clinton Foundation all the way. He's pro-liberal nonsense. But he could be somebody they try to run for president against Donald Trump, who he has to get in ahead of. And if you guys want to go over to my Twitter account, come over here and find me at Justin_formed on Twitter, at Justin_formed. Tweet me your funniest Al Gore memes. If you guys have them, I'd love to see them. I want to share them. Please come here and find me at Justin_formed and tweet to me your favorite Al Gore memes, because I think he's the one who is going to be trying to run against Trump in the upcoming election, and that would only make sense that Q's getting ahead of that in order to stem off this globalist agenda for carbon taxes and TPP and selling the United States out to the highest bidder globally. Now, the next one is an obvious. throwback to Reagan, and it's actually a really incredible video. And I'm going to try to share it here, and I will give links in the comments, right, or in the description. I'll put a link, and it's all credit to this Ty Dale. It's Ty Dale's version from November of 2013. And if you guys want to go check out his page, you can probably find him here at Ty, Tydale, Ty Dale. And this is the video that Q's actually linked to. So if you guys want to go find this one particular video and watch it, I very much encourage it. But I'm going to show it here on the channel, and I'm going to call this fair use because it's a part of my commentary. But hopefully that will cut the standard here or whatever. But I don't really care because I want to show it to you. It's a really great cut together compilation. So here you guys go and enjoy.
Now let's set the record straight. There's no argument over the choice between peace and war. But there's only one guaranteed way you can have peace, and you can have it in the next second. Surrender. Admittedly, there's a risk in any course we follow other than this, but every lesson of history tells us that the greater risk lies in appeasement, and this is the specter our well-meaning...
There you guys have a little piece of that for Ty Dale. I'm going to leave you guys, if you guys want to watch the full video, just go down to the links, and you can click and give him some love on his channel, and we thank him for posting that. And we thank you for pointing us in that direction. It's actually quite fascinating to hear Reagan's little speech across the montage that we all have come to enjoy, that are pretty normal for Q to post. Now, before we end here, there's one thing I want to get into. Okay, you guys have a lot of very choice words about what's going on with Zach, what's going on with Alex Jones. Why am I posting this? Well, first of all, I think it's fairly obvious that I like to share all sides of the argument. I don't want to become a one-track-minded individual. I want to listen to other people's inputs and see what they have to contribute. Also, secondly, in reference to Zach's area of employment is an intelligence officer with the geospatial military intelligence sector of the United States government, and he is actively working to defend and uphold the sanctity of our country's constitution and our rights as individuals. Now, he may not get it right all the time. Same goes for Alex Jones. He may not get it right all the time. But I'm going to show you something that if only you could imagine being put in a position to know certain types of information. You may not be saying these things. Now, here are some of the comments that I've gotten. And I want to share them because I think they're very important. First, Shill or talking about here. I like listening to your videos, Craig, but I absolutely can't stand listening to Alex Jones ever since he turned his back on President Trump, and that goes for Zach too. Okay, I understand that, and people are seconding it, and people are pointing to it. I'm sorry Alex Jones lost my vote a while ago with this crazy vulgar rant towards POTUS. He really lost my vote. Zach's intel has gone against things that Q has said, not trusting him as well. Sorry, love you, and what you do. But now critical thinking, they point out here, it's a good observation. But let me tell you this. There's a game going on beneath the surface here, and we all have to be aware of what it is. Now, I mean, we can go through all these comments. There's so many. Here's Mike Valek. Out of all things Zach has said, I haven't seen one thing come true. He claimed attacks will happen, never did. Going on. I mean, it's a valid point. Everybody's making valid points. I don't want to discount your view, but I want to let you know about this. First off, in that instance, maybe they're countering things that could happen. If you expose something, then it might not actually happen. And like I've said before, Zach, Alex Jones, myself, anyone who is covering this information in any regard. You guys, I mean, it comes to a point where you have to give your opinion. You can't know every single thing the president knows. There are certain levels of classification that people get and people go through, and everybody has to play a role. Maybe, just maybe, I don't want to expose tactics here, but consider the fact that there could be something going on behind the scenes where a man like Alex Jones has shown some information like this. And you guys hear it for yourself from Alex Jones. I'll play it.
Just stop it. And give up your nukes and we'll bring in business. And the globalists don't want that. And so they're going to try to use and embarrass Trump. Here's the key. As he goes into this deal, and as he meets with Kim Jong-un the next month, they're planning to stage terror attacks and maybe even EMP attacks to embarrass this whole thing and then go, oh, look, Trump did this and it caused all this. And so I'm here telling you that's the current globalist plan. And how about Hollywood and the corrupt pedophile Vatican and the globalists? How about they go away? Why do you think I'm being attacked on every TV station, every radio station, every major magazine, every day? Because they know, folks, I'm crazy enough to tell you what patriots in the real deep state against the big deep state. There's a deep, deep state that's America that founded the country. It's the original deep state. People that have honor and wisdom and courage and aren't pieces of crap. Then there's the big deep state, all the sellouts, all the cowards. Then there's the public. And our weakness in not being aware of this is what empowers us. So I've done my best trying to break this down because it doesn't even mean I understand it all. You understand that? I'm not like up here saying, it's exactly like this and I've got all the damn answers. I'm telling you what the best minds are telling me. And they say, schools getting blown up, churches getting blown up, universities, government buildings. That's just the beginning. Mass shootings, the Antifa, all wound up and ready, rolling out, shooting cops to make cops get intimidated and go into a bivouac, hidden position, fortress position. So then the globalists can come and say, oh, work with us, we'll protect you. I mean, and then EMP attacks. And I mean, it's on, folks. You see the patriots in deep state warning you about the EMP because it won't be North Korea. That's what they hold over us with just a few satellite weapons with the globalist is, you try to leave the New World Order, we'll blow the electricity out and everybody will starve. So we're being held hostage and they're going to blame North Korea for it. And that's basically the analysis. I got 4 children. I love them. I care about you too. We're all in this together, man, no matter what color you are, where you came from. So this is one of the most important transmissions I've ever put out. We can debate what's going on here. I'll be back tomorrow, 4 to 6 p.m. Lord willing.
And there you go. I mean, I don't necessarily have anything to say other than to everybody who kind of wants to knock Alex Jones and Zach and what they're doing, you're all entitled to your opinion. I'm not going to disagree with you on the fact that a lot of things come out very bad. They sound bad. But I mean, listen, we're all reacting as this information is becoming available. And some people have a lot more information than others. Things that are being brought to the light of day slowly but surely that we have to be very aware of. And I really hope that everyone out there lets me know what they think in the comments, because I respect you guys and I go through your comments and I really read them and I try to give you all sides of what's going on here in order to make a very well-rounded thought behind what we're discovering and analyzing the latest Q posts and the new ideas that are being exposed every day. The evil, the corruption, the globalists, Luciferian pedophiles. These things have to be exposed on a daily basis. So I appreciate you all sitting here with me. And here's just one thing I want to talk about with Donald Trump. You have the complete witch hunt. This is a tweet from him today. I wonder where we saw this here on the latest Q post about Michelle Bachmann defending her witch hunt. And you see Trump tweet directly after about it is a witch hunt because she exposed the Islamic infiltration of the U.S. government by the Muslim Brotherhood. And there are things that we don't even know. Allegedly, it's being looked at for Hussein to be connected to the prince in Saudi Arabia, Al-Walid bin Talal. And then you have Huma connected to the Muslim Brotherhood through her family. and you have Saudi Arabia controlling so much here in America, it is vital that we spread this information and keep it going out there and expose the deep state for what they are. And Trump's trying to give us all the insight he can. You can go through all of his tweets if you want, but that one I really wanted to point out to you. I thought it was very poignant to what we talked about in our last video, talking about the Saudi prince paying for Hussein's school. So if you guys want to watch that, go back and check it out. That's definitely awesome. But that's going to be it for this episode. Now, if you're looking for a way to contribute to the channel, I really need your help. Please, if you have not hit the subscribe button yet, please come here and click the big red subscribe button. Make sure you hit the bell notifications. That way, as soon as these videos get posted, you'll be notified, because as soon as this information is made available to me, I make it available to you. Now, the second best way you can contribute to the channel is, please go down to the comments. Let me know your thoughts, your insights, your theories. Whether you have something to contribute on one thing or the other, just go down there and leave your thoughts, because like I say, we have our own QAnon research board at the end of each one of these videos in the comment section, where we talk about the latest Q posts and we try to figure out the best ideas for what they could mean, where I got things wrong, where I got things right, and then we continue to develop a thought based off of communal dialogue, which is actually helpful for developing the most true theories about what's going on. Now, that's kind of very similar to what this whole movement is about. But tonight, I want to talk about something very important. But before that, I want to let everybody know that if you're looking for another way to contribute to the channel, please come over here to patreon.com. That's patreon.com. You can search Just Informed Talk. When you come to this landing page, click this button to become a patron. We're getting really close to my goal here, and you can check out my rewards. So it's not just a one-way street. You can come here and get rewards if you contribute to the channel. Check out the reward levels. You can earn a chance to become a featured Patreon patron. You can earn a chance for a direct email correspondence. And just to let everybody know, there's only one more Just Informed Talk official limited edition first 10 at this level, gold talk level t-shirt that says "Is Trump QAnon" on the back and Just Informed Talk on the front. So if you want that, please come here and claim it, because there's only one left. I'm just putting that out there, and I'm going to think of something really cool to do for the next run. So you guys look forward to that coming in the works. There's going to be new rewards posted on this channel or on this Patreon page, because I want it to be a two-way street. I want to make cool things for you guys and make this a very two-way street. So thank you so much in advance to everybody who's going to come here and check this out, and thank you so much to my patrons who are making this channel possible every day through your contributions to this effort, because I need all the help I can get, and I can't tell you how much it means to me to be able to get your contribution to keep this channel going. So thank you so much. Now, the last thing we're going to talk about is the most important thing, as always. It's God. Why is God's love and grace the most important thing we should seek every day when we deal with these different issues? Well, quite simply put, we have to try to be godly. It's tough. It's tough when you lose a job. It's tough when you go through a hardship. It's tough when people don't treat you fairly. But God will accord his due to you based on your ability to love God and put him first every day. He'll give you your dues. He'll bless you as he sees fit once you open your heart to God and become the conduit to spread his word far and wide, spread his love far and wide. And I want to read something, a really quick psalm here, and it's about the description of the godly, and it's Psalm 15. And we're going to read this really quickly. It says, "Lord, who can dwell in your tent? Who can live on your holy mountain? The one who lives honestly, practices righteousness, and acknowledges the truth in his heart, who does not slander with his tongue, who does not harm his friend, or discredit his neighbor, who despises the one rejected by the Lord, but honors those who fear the Lord, who keeps his word, whatever the cost, who does not lend his money at interest, or take a bribe against the innocent. The one who does these things will never be moved." And that's how we are to live our lives. Even if you've made the mistake of being moved by things that weren't the Lord in the past. All the Lord asks, the whole reason why Christ died on the cross for our sins, and why we go and we take our communion and we get our repentance from the Lord, and we are cleansed by the Lord's sacrifice for us of our sins through our repentance. The whole idea behind that is to create a motivating factor for us to live our lives in a godly way. So remember, no matter what, if the times seem hard, if they seem great, if you're in between, look to God every day. Say a prayer. Open your heart. Let God's light come into your heart and spread that light to the rest of the world, because that's what God calls us to do on a daily basis. So if you don't take anything else away from this episode, please take that away. That's my motivating goal for all of the videos, information, and other things I share here, is to tell you guys the word of the Lord and to share the truth with you as I see it. So thank you for coming on this journey with me, but that's going to be it for this episode. Again, if you have not hit the subscribe button, please come here and click the big red subscribe button. Make sure you hit the bell for notifications. That way you'll be notified when these videos get posted. That's going to be it for me. I want to say thank you so much for watching. This has been Just Informed Talk. My name is Craig. Godspeed, and God bless each and every one of you, Patriots.